All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start off by giving all praise and glory unto
Yahweh,
by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and truth. It's the brother Barzal. Yeah, we want to do a lesson on how is the hammer of the whole earth broken asunder. You know, and that's a quote from Isaiah the 14th chapter. You know, and that's really talking about ancient Babylon in context, but in spirit, it's talking about modern day Babylon. Because Babylon was the conquering nation that stood at the pinnacle of all nations, and they used their military, they used their power and their influence to pretty much put all nations in subjection. You know, if you look at an ancient world map, you'll see Babylon, and you'll see all the provinces that they took over, and then you'll see how the influence of whether it was their language, their culture, their lifestyle started to play in the minds and in the spirit of the vast majority of the people. You know, and that was an ancient kingdom, of course, and it fell. Now fast forward today, which the word the word Babylon means confusion. Babal is confusion. But fast forward today, you have Babylon the Great, which is known as in the scriptures as the virgin daughter of Babylon, because it came really out of Babylon through in the spirit. They didn't actually come and break out of Iraq. The Edomite nations didn't break out of that Iraq region, but the spirit of their ideologies and their formulations of thought and their ways that they actually moved in motion around the world was very, very similar, pretty much synonymous to ancient Babylon. You know, hell, even in law, and I learned this in school, pretty sure you brothers of course are familiar. One thing that in U.S. law that's heavily upheld is the Code of Hammurabi, you know, or the Hammurabi Code, which Hammurabi was a Babylonian, if I'm not mistaken, king. You know, so they still go by those ancient Babylonish customs, and some of those things that was in the laws of Hammurabi were actually spiritual, because they had an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's actually in the law of Hammurabi. You know, but all in all, Babylon was a place of heavily idol worship. It was a heathenistic kingdom that stood at the pinnacle, like I said before, at all kingdoms, and they used their military expertise to put all nations into heavy subjection. So look at today. Look at America, which we have queued up right now. This image. It says roughly every 6 days in the world, a country celebrates its independence from Britain. It is most widely celebrated holiday in the world, and you'll see all these countries that gain independence from Britain. And the United States of America is also named on that list because, of course, we know you have Independence Day, which is May 1st. Excuse me. That's Independence Day is July 1st. July 4th. Yeah, July the 4th of July. Excuse me. 1776. You see, May 1st is the establishment of the Illuminati. But America, being that little horn written of in the book of Daniel, the book of Daniel, they took they succeeded from Babylon. So that is the new hammer. You know, you had a military general that said that pretty much America's likened unto a hammer, and they look at every nation like a nail. You know, they go into these different nations, and they push it under the coinage of democracy. You know, but it's really just wicked influences. So they'll go in these nations and they'll impose their wicked way of life and their customs and the way that they conduct themselves. And next thing you know, 5-10 years later, that country is on an aggressive downward spiral, man.
Yeah, and now they're dependent on America.
Yeah. And America is known to establish high interest rates in these different kingdoms, which is really usury.
Yeah.
You know,
stripping them of their resources.
Stripping them of their natural resources. You know, they're giving these women liberty to get abroad in these different nations. That's why these Arab countries, they don't want America around. They call America the Great Satan. If you look up the Great Satan and all throughout Google, you're gonna see the Arabs that's the actual coinage. amongst the Arabs that America is great Satan and Israel is little Satan, you know. And we've seen the aggressive run that America has had throughout the space of time that they've been in rulership, and they pretty much had the ability to invade mass majority of the world, you know. But this is the time where these different nations, like the scripture says, and we'll go ahead and get into it in Isaiah the 14th chapter. It says, "Let the weak say I am strong." You know, they're actually enhancing their military capabilities. They're having joint battles. They're creating treaties, like you just seen Russia and Korea.
Yeah.
You know, as well as Iran and various other nations that are participating with this BRICS thing.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You had Russia, which I think they're still over there, and Cuba. Cuba is good allies with Russia, you know, and also China. China has a lot of nations that want to keep the Chinese government in their good favor, and if it boils down to it, they would rather actually side with China than America.
Yeah.
You know, and that's even some nations that's even quote unquote Europeans, which we know they're Edomites, but they see that their kingdom is fallen. That's why the scriptures speak about the 10 toes. Some were strong and some were weakened. If you're weak, you're going to seek a high amount of dependence. You know, even in America, if you're disabled or you're crippled, you can actually be filed as a dependent. You know, because you need somebody to help you, you know, actually move and function. So a lot of these countries are welfare nations, man. You know, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Spain. That's the pigs, all right? But the Most High is breaking these European nations down.
Yeah, the scriptures say that the Lord's going to uncover the thigh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's going to show not only us, you know, who Esau really is, you know, but these other nations is. That's why the deacon, you know, is going into how, you know, basically that the beast going to hate that whore, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that rolled for punted.
Mm-hmm. So Isaiah 14:10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become likened unto us? Yeah, and see, America is losing their strength. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna go like we just had the presidential debate yesterday, and you didn't hear any of these guys speaking about the conditions of America. Which I didn't watch the whole thing. They might be talking about how America is pretty much going to shit, but they'll vaguely speak on it, and they'll still push out hope. You know, from an optimistic standpoint. See, we're optimistic, but we're realists. And part of our optimism as prophets is to prophesy the fall of evil kingdoms so that the kingdom of heaven can be established. It tells you that in the book of 2nd Esdras. You know, we're not here to push out the energy that America can rejuvenate itself and get back to its old vibrant self.
Right. The scriptures say Babylon will not be healed.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the track record of this place has been contributory, a major contributor to the detriment of us as a people. There's all kind of documentaries that show how the drug, you know, these major drug rings here in America, or these sex trafficking rings, or these arms trafficking rings, have been predictably, you know, what you have the term systematic oppression, systematically put and placed in these black and Latino neighborhoods to destroy them. And then in terms of sex trafficking, it's a lot of the women of our nation that actually get scooped up and taken overseas to be actual sex slaves, man.
Yeah.
You know, why would you want to be in a kingdom like that?
Right.
You know, the scripture says this is not our rest. And here in Atlanta, this is one of the most major, you know, rings of that wickedness.
Yeah, they had a video of a budget truck. You know, a guy was riding behind it, and it was the back of it was full of kids, man.
Full of kids.
You know, here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep, here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a certain bus that took place where, you know, certain individuals was part of those rings, whether drug rings, and you know. But even when you think about it on a legit, because that's just a crime here. These companies are deliberately selling us poison. You know, these pharmaceutical companies, these food industries, you know, they're being approved to kill us. Yeah. You know, it's slow kill. You know, they're not putting a gun to our head and actually blowing our brains out, but the food that they're feeding us is chemically induced, and it's breaking down our immune system, breaking down our digestive system, our enzymes. You know, making it more difficult for our bodies to even process that poison because it's processed food. Right. You know?
Even, that's why the scriptures say that in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, how basically Babylon has been that golden cup in the Lord's hand.
Yeah, which I could get.
Yeah, you want to grab it. You know, it's full of abominations because like we always go into on the outside looking in, you know, it's beautiful here. You know, you got certain landmarks, you know, certain places you can travel and visit, you know, historical sites.
Yep.
You know, but once you really actually get into the thickness of this place, you see how filthy it really is. And that's why even going into, you know, these other nations, you know, when certain, you know, Hamites or, you know, other, you know, different sectors of Edomites come over to America, you know, they really don't like this place, man. You know, and they really want to, you know, is ready to go back home because America is filthy.
Yep.
You know?
What it says, as is the mother, so is the daughter.
So is the daughter, yeah.
You know, and it was all kind of wickedness and witchcraft that was taking place in ancient Babylon and also in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, as well as, what's that? Babylon, Greece, Rome, Persia.
Yeah.
You know, and America is a amalgamation of all these different nations. They took all these different customs. That's why it's United States. You know, it's a unification of different states, and every state has different regulations and different ways that they conduct themselves. Hell, you got certain states like what's this place in Kentucky? I forget the exact name. I don't know if it's Hamburg, Kentucky, but you have they elected a fucking French bulldog, man.
Yeah,
Wilbur.
It's crazy.
You know? And he's probably running the country better than fucking Biden, but nonetheless,
right.
The fact of the matter is
that's Babylon.
That's Babylon. It's confusing.
Yeah.
What the hell type of policies and what kind of thinking can a dog do as mayor? You know, to run for a mayor, that takes a human with critical thinking, you know, to assess
decision
making. They have to actually talk in the midst of people and, you know, know what the people want, knowing how to shape the county or state or city that the person is in. But that's part of the confusion. All right. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. And the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
Yeah. And notice it said that it's in the Lord's hand. You see, so even going to the, you know, the premises, you know, the lesson, you know, that goes, you know, to show you that, hey, it was intentional for America or Babylon to be discovered for what it really is and who it and where it really is.
That's why Scripture says, what, make bare the leg, you know, cover the top, pass over the rivers. You know, that's Isaiah the 47th chapter.
Yeah.
You know, because if it wasn't for the prophets and starting off with the apostles and elders on down, nobody would really know what America being Babylon.
Right.
You know, America being that great horde that's rideth upon the dragon. You know, that's a mystery that got revealed in the spirit through our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. You know, and of course we had elders before our apostles that they look up to. Elder Abba Bivens, you know, King Masha, Elder Yaquab, and they understood that this was Babylon the Great too. When you see the street teachings all the way back then, they would prophesy against here in America. You see? So it's a long-standing history of this evil, demented kingdom that has deliberately oppressed us, and they try to put forth a guise like it's all accidental, and they have no control over the things that take place, but they benefit directly or indirectly from the oppression of us as a people.
Right.
You know? And the scripture says they give no account for their labor. It's not like the so-called white man is looking to relinquish funds or give us certain. The only thing the devil has given us for free as far as, which is not even health, but as far as these health industries go, is the jab.
Yeah.
They're not really breaking you off trying to relieve your sicknesses.
Oh, nah.
You know?
They're trying to make it worse.
They're trying to make it worse.
Yeah.
That's why,
that's $1 trillion industry in the medical field.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me get this in Proverbs.
And if I can say while you're grabbing that, you know, that's why it says in Sirach, the 10th chapter, that the Lord is going to set one up that is profitable.
Yeah.
You know, because Esau, he's an unprofitable ruler. You know, hence, look at his society, his kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything is tainted. The food, like the brothers going into the food, the women, you know, everything, man. The air quality, the water quality, you know, because this devil, you know, had a certain, not even a long time of rulership, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different, shorter than all the other kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and look at how, that's why the scripture said that their wickedness has reached into the heavens, man.
Yeah.
You know, so the Lord has to bring them down, like it says in Revelation in the 18th chapter, about Babylon suddenly has fallen, roughly paraphrased.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the Lord is going to bring them down quickly, man.
Yep.
You know,
so in 1 hour,
in 1 hour.
And Russia and these different nations have been speaking about nuking Babylon for a second now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Scripture speak about it. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars. So these rumors are culminating, and we're seeing proxy wars take place. Which you have this conflict of Russia and Ukraine, which America is pretty much intervening in, which is going to turn into a direct conflict between America and Russia.
Yeah,
and when these nations, when these nations actually touch one another, then it's gonna we pretty much there. You got it.
No, I was just gonna add to your point about Russia declaring United States as an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the scriptures speak about destroying him that destroyeth the earth, which I could get that as a closer. I'm gonna get this and I just close with the other ones.
Okay.
I know we almost at the location. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're in a high state of mourning, man. Vast majority of us as a people, we've been hustling and grinding tooth over nail, you know, from our grandfathers and our fathers onto us, and we still don't have shit.
Right.
There's been statistics to show that the average black family gives away $0 as an inheritance to their children. So we're not deliberately, but we're poor. This is a system where it's damn near impossible to come up. That's why it says that this is not our rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I'll just get this last closer. You know, because the beauty of it is the Lord, as it is written, time and chance happening to them all.
Oh, yeah.
The Lord has given this man a time to rule. He gave him a space to run up a tab that his ass got to cash out, because the scripture says what? That the wages of sin is death.
Yeah.
You know, he gonna have to pay on all the wickedness that he's done pursuant to Lamentations, the 4th chapter, which he never even thought. He thinks that, like it tells you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, that they could just do.
Yeah.
They could just live. They could commit adultery. They could poison the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That the house shall continue. They could poison the air. You know, they could just rob and extort and just sweep all these things under the table because they don't believe in the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in the Satan, man. You see? But little do they know that there is a Most High, a heavenly power, and there's a reward for the righteous.
That's right.
So the tables is going to turn from upside down, as it pursuant to Isaiah 29 chapter and the 16th verse. Surely a turning of things shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, to right side up. So this is Revelations 11:18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. You want to go into?
And that's why the scriptures, you know, because it said the nations are angry, you know, the scriptures speak of in Joel, the 3rd chapter, about basically how these nations are going to turn their agricultural tools into weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your pruning hooks into swords, and your hooks, your plowshares into spears.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the Lord is gearing toward war, the third one. You know, that's spoken of in the scriptures.
Yeah, scriptures even says thrust and not sickle, which one of the symbols of Russia is the sickle.
Yeah.
You know, so the Lord is going to reap. You know, we're literally in the time of threshing, where it's going to be a high level of heads chopping, heads rolling down.
Yeah.
You know, scriptures speak about, you know, these cities going to be pretty much filled with blood.
The draft, they declared it.
They declared that draft. So America's really lining you people up too. Scripture says Jacob's being led as sheep to the slaughter. And you see these senile presidents going back to these different debates. They down there have a leg to stand on. It's pretty much, which somebody made a joke. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, if you was young enough to actually see SpongeBob when you were a kid. You know, it's Nickelodeon stuff for younger brothers.
Yeah.
But that's definitely that. When you hear these two individuals talk, it's like that's all we got left.
Right.
Between them two. And you see Esau is pretty much putting all his energy, which Biden made a statement about the chip, you know, chip manufacturers, because that's one of the main backbones that America is standing on. They're going to have to get that C-HIP rolling very, very soon.
Yeah, that's like his last move, his last card that he's going to play.
Well, yeah, when he was Senate, it said that he would have to rule on that. A guy said, "You will rule on this chip." You know, it's damn near like he was speaking of it like a omen or something.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be your job and your duty to push that device.
Yeah.
And you can see he's pushing it now.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, we're close, brothers. You know, you got to stay down, stay working. Scripture says, work while it's day. You know, the night cometh when no man shall work. And, you know, the fall of this man's kingdom is right before our eyes. You know, so with that, we're going to end it by giving all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostle, elders, great millstone. Shalom, Maki.
Shalom.